Welcome back to another episode of the Student Athlete Sessions by D3 Direct. Today we're joined by a former D3 hooper from New Jersey City University. You might have also known him from his work last summer with We Are D3 in the TBT. His squad went on a deep run, beating alumni teams like UConn, Syracuse, en route to just an awesome performance for the level overall. He's also a pro hooper overseas. He's played in multiple countries, most recently Jordan, which we will get into because there are some crazy stories there, Malta, and a ton of others, proving that D3 guys who can hoop can get opportunities. It just takes work. Um, yeah, really inspiring story overall. Eugene Campbell III, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we always like to start. We were talking a little bit before we started recording, but where are you right now? What's current for you?
Right now, I'm in New Jersey, in Carteret, and right now I'm just focused on giving back to the youth. I have my own basketball program called Pass Me the Rock Elite, where we teach kids who are a little bit advanced in recreational players, ball handling, passing, shooting, footwork, etc. I also ref. I got my referee license, so I'm starting to ref AAU games on weekends, and just I'm back in the lab, man, getting ready for my next opportunity. I'll make that announcement soon. I should be leaving in about 2 months. So just getting the mind right and the body right. I played for 7 months straight from Malta to Lebanon to Jordan. So just give my body a little break and focusing on the community, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. Try to be where your feet are, touch down a little bit. I'm sure it's nice to be home and seeing family and like you said, getting on the court to help the next generation. Um, yeah, I read your story and it seems like you didn't have a lot of those like maybe formal instructions. You didn't play AAU, you got cut from your high school team. What was your kind of process like growing up with basketball?
Watching my family play, like my dad, he played basketball at the high school level, and my sister played at the high school and collegiate level. She was 1,000 point scorer in high school, so she was an inspiration for me, growing up. Also I have a cousin that plays in the EuroLeague right now, also played in the NBA. Just watching him grow up as well, watching him as I was growing up, playing basketball at a really high level, at the highest level, kind of motivated me, inspired me to, want to pursue basketball. And, I tried other sports as well. Like I did baseball, also used to skateboard at one point, which actually helped me with my footwork with
I'm
basketball.
sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was good at skateboarding, surprisingly. A lot of people don't know that. Like I used to skateboard a lot uh, when I was in high school. If I wasn't having basketball practice, I was skateboarding on the weekends. I had my friends that I would skateboard with, and yeah, like now I think about it, like that's why I got pretty good balance because of that. But baseball, I was really good at. I was really just an athlete. I was always athletic. I could dunk as early as like I think caught my first dunk at like 13, 14 years old. So, like I
Wow.
was super athletic. Um, had long arms, still got long arms, long legs. Always had that grit in me. I spent like my early days in Jersey City up until about like middle school. And it's one of those fast paced cities where everybody's trying to hustle, everybody's trying to grind. Carteret's more like a chill, laid back city, but like Jersey City for sure is more like a aggressive.
Things are always happening.
Yeah, very competitive. So I got that from my family, got that from my mom, my dad, my sister, who the three primary people that I'm close with in my circle as far as family, um, who helped raise me and turn me to the man I am today. So
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's great to have those examples, and especially one like, is your sister older?
yeah, she's about 10 years older than me.
Yeah. I feel like with people who have an older sibling who's gone and played in college, that vision becomes much more possible because you have that lived example that's in your house. Um, I think when you don't have that, it can be pretty daunting to figure out how you're going to reach out to coaches. How do you train? How do you like, what are the expectations if you're going to play at that level? So that's awesome. Um, I saw you were pretty undersized. I mentioned you got cut from your high school team. You were pretty undersized. What advice do you have for people that'll listen to this, recruits that are maybe on the smaller side and are struggling to get traction, struggling to get an opportunity or that look from a high school coach?
Stand out. I got cut, but the second year I stood out. was a lockdown defender. I was diving for loose balls. I was the loudest one talking on defense. I was the loudest one communicating the help side, screen left, screen right. I was clapping my hands, high fiving players, coaches, just bringing the energy. Even if you're not the most talented, even if you're not the tallest and the most skilled, you can stand out to a coach and get an opportunity to make the team by just being very vocal. I really emphasize that on young recruits. Be vocal. Don't be quiet, especially if you know you're not the most talented in the room. If you know, sometimes talent can be loud without speaking. But if you're the
Mm,
loudest one in there, you can't help but to get a coach's attention. You know, and if you're playing hard, you're playing defense, getting rebounds, doing little things, that'll help you make the team. And then once you make the team, you on the team. So now you got all the resources that everybody on the team has. Now you can work on your game. Now you can get better at what you need to do.
right. Get that focused coaching, get the weightlifting, get
Yeah.
all those things that start to compound and accelerate the growth. Yeah, very true. Yeah, I mean, okay, for someone who, as I know in my experience, as I got older in college, it, I was like, okay, I have to be a leader on this team. And I was more of a quiet, just like work hard on the court, but not necessarily, I was never going to be yelling or be loud. And I had to learn to start to do that. And some of it feels forced at times. When the
Yeah.
gym's quiet, you're tired, everyone's tired, no one wants to talk. Like there were times where I felt like it was very manufactured and I just had to be being like mine or balls coming, switch, screen, like just yelling things. What would be your advice for recruits who maybe are in that boat, who are a little softer spoken, don't like to be loud? Like what can they do? What was a good tactic for you to, be vocal out there?
Learn from the vets. Learn from the if you're a freshman and you're that way, usually by your senior year you should be vocal, especially if you're a captain or a leader. Freshman guys learn from the vets, learn from the seniors, watch them and emulate what they do. Also, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like it's just like work with anything. You're gonna be in uncomfortable situations. I've been playing overseas for 6 years. I've played in over 9, 10 countries. I've been put in different roles and different responsibilities for different teams to adapt in order to help the team win. So you got to do whatever it takes to make sure that you are in a position to be successful for the game that you love. If you really love the game, then you'll make yourself uncomfortable in a situation, to make sure that you're on the team and make sure that you're making an impact on the team. You can sacrifice being out of your comfort zone to be a little vocal, to be on the team, get more minutes, and have more opportunities. It's not going to kill you. It's not the worst thing in the world. At the end
Mm,
of the day, it's going to pay off, especially when you go to the next level, when you go to the collegiate level, when you go to the pro level. You're going to remember all of that stuff that you did in high school. And then when it's time to play at the next level, it's going to become muscle memory and it's going to be a lot easier.
right, right. It won't be that starting energy that feels so big
Yeah,
when you're just getting going with it will not feel as scary anymore. I think that's good advice.
yeah.
I think there's also something to be said too, just about, you put yourself, as you mentioned, in these challenging situations, new countries, new systems, new coaches, new teammates every year. Would you say, I mean, obviously it's great to be comfortable, but what would you say that has taught you or, um, you know, maybe from a basketball perspective or the rest of your life?
I would say it started at an early age. I went to a school called Lutheran Parochial from pre-K to third grade. Then I went to a school called St. Aloysius from fourth to fifth grade. Then even in the fifth grade year, I went to a school called Menu School. Then I went to a school called St. Joseph's. Then I went to a school called Assumption Catholic. And then I finally went to high school and went to a consistent school for 4 years. So I went to a lot of different schools and was like the new kid in a lot of schools growing up. So I learned how to just adapt to different situations, different types of people, and different rules and regulations. I think that's what helped me when it was time for me to play overseas. Just always moving around to a different school.
Yeah. Yeah. So something you're already used to. That's
Yeah,
very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's impressive. Not many people can do that or are resilient enough to bounce and, land on their feet and yeah, keep going forward. I think that's impressive. Definitely want to dive into your pro career and kind of the stops along the way, what you've learned maybe at each, but also before there, I would like to let's think about back to your college days. For those who are watching on video, they can see you're wearing the
oh yeah,
NJCU
I gotta represent. You know
some
what I'm saying?
gear.
Got the
Yeah,
game for life, brother. Gotta
I
represent.
I love it. Yeah, but for those who don't know, you didn't start your career there. You
Nah,
got you only got into one school and you didn't even get an offer. So what
Nope.
was that recruiting process like, and what was your mindset going into? You ended up going to Middlesex for your first year. What was that
Yeah.
mindset like?
It's either kill or be killed. I had no choice. The recruiting wasn't as crazy as it is now with all the portals, but the recruiting was tight, man. Like that 2014, that 2015 year, that was like a tight recruitment. There was a lot of great players that year, so I had to make sure like I stood out. Even at the JUCO level, there was some good players that were recruited, so I had to stand out, like we talked about. First one at practice, last one to leave every day. Um, just making sure I talk with the coach, making sure that I go to the gym on my days off as well. That's when the grind really started because I don't know what it's like to be recruited. I didn't know what it was like to be recruited until I got an agent and I started getting like contracts overseas. That's when I felt like I was recruited and felt like I was valued as a player. I never got recruited, never in my life. I've always been a walk.
Wow.
I've been a walk on my whole life, like literally. So that's all
Yeah.
I know is proving myself. All I know is constantly playing with anger and hunger and will because I've never been somebody who, hey, we want you on the team. It's always been, who's that guy? He's working man hard. Oh, who is he? Oh, is it walk on? All right, I'm gonna look at him. Like I always have
Right.
to make sure I work harder than everybody in the room in order to get anywhere. So
Yeah.
that's embedded in me with everything. That's why, as a Division III player, I'm able to play in like top leagues like Lebanon, which is full of NBA and Division I guys, and nobody knows I play D3 because I play at their level and even better.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Making use of every time you're in a gym, like whatever that situation was, there was no wasted moment. I think, yeah, you had a different value, and
yeah,
yeah, I think, yeah, that's a great message. I mean, so many kids out there right now that will DM us and be like, I just need one opportunity. I just need one thing to start. And I'm like, focus on school, get into a spot, and then go walk on, right? Like, make the coach aware, but then give it a shot. And I think, one story that stands out, there's a guy, I'm not sure if you're familiar. He's also from Jersey, but his name's Brian Masako he's now at NYU, but he got cut from a team, ended up walking on at NYU, and he's had a similar journey to you. Keeps progressing, keeps working hard. So it's just for any kids listening to this out there, just know that you have an example in Eugene's story, you got an example in Brian's story that once you get the opportunity, make the most of it, and don't give up just because no one was knocking on your door. Oftentimes, it takes that repeated, proactive effort to get a spot.
yeah. That's really what it comes down to. What you said, like, do not give up. As soon as things don't go your way, don't give up on it. You never know. Like I literally stuck it out for 4 years, and then another 2 years after that, stuck it out, and then the opportunity presented itself, and by the time I actually got my opportunity that I've been dreaming for, I took advantage of it. You always like I always say this to my kids that I work out, that I train, that I coach. You gotta stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. You
Mm,
know, when somebody asks me, "Are you ready?" I'll be like, I don't have to get ready because I stay ready. If I wasn't ready, I wouldn't be here. You
right.
always gotta stay ready because you never know when you're gonna get that call. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially on the pro side, pro team finances are so funny, and yeah, just when they can get an import or when they can reach out, it's going to be variable. So I think, yeah, that's a great message.
Hmm.
Um, with New Jersey City University, as you mentioned, you've always been a walk on. You walked on there. What was it about like that opportunity? I know you turned down maybe a D2
Yeah.
option. What was that kind of step in your basketball journey like?
It was a little uncomfortable, but like my whole family's from Jersey City. I've lived there for a little bit of my life, so technically I'm from Jersey City. So it was like I'm coming back home. You know, my family could watch my games. It's not really that far from where I reside, and it's like a legacy thing. Okay, the hometown heroes coming back to college to play at New Jersey City University. I used to live literally like a 5 to 10 minute walk away from school, so it was
That's
kind of
great.
like a homecoming. Yeah,
Yeah. There's something special about, yeah, having your family be able to come to games and
yeah,
see that. Like, they've worked just as hard as you along the way, supporting you, taking you to different things, like picking you up from practice, cooking you food, like all those things that go into your success. They're behind the scenes, and I'm sure that's really gratifying for them to get to experience you having this homecoming, being a little closer. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then it sounds like, basketball was always a love of yours. When did you know that you wanted to go pro? When was this something that became clear to you? At what point in your life?
I would say after I finished up my senior year, I was like not satisfied. I don't know. I just had this weird feeling that I was like, yo, I don't feel like I played enough basketball. I don't think I'm gonna end it here. Like I gotta do more. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do more. And it's something that is very important. I don't even think I talk about this a lot, but I'm gonna bring it up here in this interview. COVID is the reason why I went overseas. COVID-19 got me overseas, and I tell you why. During COVID, a lot of people were depressed. A lot of people were sitting in the house. A lot of people didn't know what to do because the whole world shut down. I had access to a basketball court, and I was outside every single day playing basketball, doing drills, watching videos on YouTube, watching film. There was nothing else to do but to work hard, in my opinion. Like that's how I felt. This is where I'm gonna use this COVID-19 pandemic situation to separate myself from everybody else that was better than me. And I worked hard continuously every single day for like 5, 6 months straight. And when I got the opportunity, I was more than ready. I was waking up every day at 6 in the morning running 2 miles. I was running 2 miles at night. I would even have my sister run with me and some of my friends. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where they couldn't even keep up. I was running laps around them. I
Mm.
was, doing like 600 push-ups a day. I was getting shots up. I was working on my ball handlers. I had bought a heavy ball. Amazon was still popping around that time. So I was just ordering mad stuff. Like I had the ball hall gloves. Like I had the I forgot what the name of those gloves was called. They're like gold and black, and they're like a grip.
There, yeah, it's harder to hold the ball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had those. Forget the name. But I had something similar called ball hog gloves. They were like red and black, where you dribble them and they got weight in the gloves.
Mm.
I used a heavy ball. Um, I was dribbling with two basketballs. I was, running every day and just really locked in, really dialed in. My uncle had a boxing gym, so I was at the boxing gym every day, sweating, getting cardio. Like it was hot as I don't know what in there, and he had a weight room in there, so the hands were sharp. I was getting cut. I was in crazy shape because boxing gets you in crazy shape.
It's insane. Yeah.
Boxing had me in crazy shape for basketball. I had just came off of getting my personal trainer certification around that time, so I was doing personal training. And then when COVID started clearing up, I was getting clients and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, man, the opportunity presented itself, and once I got over there, I took full advantage of it. But the story of how I got overseas is actually more insane. If you want to get into that, we can.
I would, yeah, because I know a lot of kids who graduate and they're graduating very soon because we're recording this in April here.
Yeah,
They are going to want to hear this because it's is how what is the next step, right? A lot of people might be having the same thought that you did, which is like, I haven't played enough basketball yet. I haven't played enough of my sport, soccer, whatever it is, volleyball.
hmm,
What were the steps you took? I know you did a grad assistantship
yeah.
for a little bit, but in terms of playing pro, what were those steps you took?
Like I said, the COVID-19 hard work,
Yep,
dedication during the whole time of me working out. It's this website called Eurobasket. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. I
yep.
was on Eurobasket every single day. I contacted a new country. If you go on Eurobasket, the email of the coaches and the team is on the Eurobasket page. So every single day was a new country. I did it in alphabetical order from Europe, all the way from Armenia to Albania, all the way down to like Switzerland. And I was like, all right, so Tuesday is Germany. Okay, Wednesday is Scotland. Okay, Thursday is France. I emailed every single team and every single league, like probably over 800 teams within that 5 or 6 month span. I got one yes. I had like a 999 no's and one yes. That one yes was the top league of Moldova, which is like a weird country, not a lot
Small
of people,
country, yep.
small country in Europe. And I was offered the opportunity for a low salary, and I took it. And I went over there and averaged 40 points a game, and then that opened up the doors for everything else for me to this day. So
Did you have an agent at that point, or did you go by yourself?
I just bet on myself. I knew I really
Wow.
wanted to play basketball. I really wanted to I really wanted the opportunity, so I made sure that agent or not, I was going to take the opportunity, and it was the best opportunity I ever took in my life. I was skeptical about it because of where it was going to be and all of this stuff, and then with the war with Ukraine's right next door. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this, but at the end of the day, if I don't do it, I'm gonna be regretting this for the rest of my life because I'm not going like 999 doors and I got one yes. Who knows how many more doors I got to knock on to get another yes. So I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity, and it has changed my life. I've been in so many countries. I've been around so many good people. I've experienced so many different things playing overseas, and I'm not done yet. 6 years in, I still got some more years left, and I'm excited for what comes next. But that opportunity that I had is something that I cherish for the rest of my life because it changed my
Mm,
life.
yeah. Well, I'm curious about the situation on the ground. Like, I think as a lot of Americans never leave the US, right? And they never go to a different place, to a Moldova to see what the people are like there. So what was, no agent, you didn't have most people have someone to help them kind of integrate. What was your setup? Did they put you up in an apartment?
Yeah,
What were your teammates like kind of that first year on the ground?
I would say like the teammates was really like my agents, not even necessarily my agents, but I mean like I had the support from my teammates. I got a couple people that I played with in Moldova that I'm still close with to this day. Shout out to my boy Jonathan Boatwright. I'm really close with him. Me and him became really good friends from that experience, and my boy Javante Ellis, who was also my teammate, and my boy JC. Just being around a bunch of Americans. It was a lot of Americans in the league. We all stayed in the same area because it was still the pandemic going on. So they didn't have
Mm,
bar. They had me in my own apartment because I wanted my own apartment. I'm one of those type of guys. I don't really want to live with a lot of people. If I'm living overseas and I have to live there, I'm not trying to be in an apartment with like a whole bunch of people or be at a
yeah, have your own space.
like my own space. I've made that clear since my rookie year. But I had access to go see them. It wasn't really that hard. You could take taxis or whatever. I would say just learning about the culture. One advice I'll give to people: don't go overseas and try to be all American and I'm American this, I'm American that, and I don't want to learn nothing. You never know what can happen if you learn their cultures. Like it's a lot of these countries have beautiful culture. I remember when I was in Moldova, I was in this town called Ribnica, and they were so excited for me and my teammate to come to the village that they put on a whole show and performance. Like they had people dancing with like elegant dresses, and they prepared us like some type of dishes that they had in food. And it was a great experience, and it was literally just for us. It was like a welcoming for us, and it made me feel special as a player and as a American who's traveling abroad. And the food was pretty good, and I learned their dances and all of that. And I took pictures with a lot of the people that were from Moldova, and pretty much everywhere I went, people wanted to take photos with me and my teammates. So it was cool being like a little celebrity in another country. Because back in America, I ain't playing in the league, so I'm just a regular guy. I mean, at this point, I'm well known, especially in Jersey. But like at the time, I'm just a regular guy. Like I felt like I was like LeBron over there. Like people were
Right.
really want to take pictures with me, sign autographs and stuff, come to the game. So it's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But that takes a willingness to say yes and like be open to, like you said, to a new culture. And so credit to you because not many people, even those who go pro, who play abroad, I've talked to a lot of people who just want to play, video games in their room during their downtime and they don't want to learn a language, they don't want to do anything. So I think there's so much to be gained from trying to experience what some other country, some other people have to offer. And so that's awesome you did that.
Yeah, because you never know if you'll ever go back to that country. You might as well make the most out of the experience. You could literally play 2K. 2K comes out every year. There's gonna be another one coming out soon. Like
Right.
it's the same games every time. Like you can do that anytime. But these countries and these experiences, like you'll never be able to relive those type of moments.
Yeah. And your body too. There's a clock on how long you'll be able to play. So
Yep.
yeah. After that first year, you said you average about 40 a game, which,
Yeah.
I've seen some of your more recent stats that they haven't dropped off much, if at all, from there. But after that point, did you start to get interest from agents? I know you mentioned earlier that that was the first time you'd ever been recruited. What happened after you had some success in a European Pro League?
I started getting recruitment from agents who wanted to sign me, who wanted to give me opportunities to get deals. Definitely for sure after that, but I still wasn't getting agents that were giving me like really good salaries to the point where I could just come home and don't have to worry about anything. You know, I would still have to get a job. So like
Hmm.
be like later on, like even like as recent as the last couple of years where I could come home with a good amount of money and just take care of my responsibilities and don't have to stress too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I do want to talk about it, and maybe it's still an ongoing situation, but your most recent team you played with was in Jordan. And I saw through Instagram that you had some issues with the team. Do you want to just talk about that kind of situation or maybe what you're able to share?
Yeah, I mean, the situation has already been handled. I don't have any bad blood with the team, the organization. Obviously, I just choose not to do business with them. I have nothing against the league because I played in Jordan before and I had a wonderful experience. It's a beautiful country. Just that situation didn't work out. There were people behind the scenes that weren't doing good business and that weren't making the contracts as they should have been. There was forged signatures in the contracts. So it was like I never signed it to begin with, so which is why they tried to do what they did. Unfortunately, my agent was behind some of that, so I've had to, let him go and part ways with him. I wish him nothing but the best in his whatever he has going on in his career. But I just come from a family and come from a background of just doing good business and doing right by people, and I felt like I wasn't being done right in that situation. Just not having the living conditions that a human being should have. I wouldn't even say American because anybody who lives in those type of conditions shouldn't have to deal with that. I'm sure you
Yeah.
heard like there was no heat in the apartment for a little bit, no water, and the food wasn't being provided to me until like 12:30 at night for like a couple days, like, and the stove wasn't working, so we couldn't cook. And it was during Ramadan, so like it's a Muslim country. A lot of the stores were closed at 6 o'clock. So after 6 o'clock, it was over. Like, you couldn't get anything. So they knew that, what I'm saying? And everybody's not from Jordan. So you kind of got to make sure that they're comfortable. Like,
Right.
you can't just say, oh, this is how we do it. So yeah, that's how we're going to do it. But we also have no car. We also had no SIM card. We also were in the middle of nowhere. Y'all have access to vehicles. Y'all have access to these type of things to maneuver to, accommodate you if you're lacking a resource. So, you know,
Yeah. It's a good reminder, though. I mean, I think many people want to play professionally because they associate it with playing in the league or playing in the NBA, something like that. But there are these challenging situations that can come up. I mean, you're not the only person we've talked to. John D. Bartolomeo, who used to play to Rochester, now has been playing with Maccabi Tel Aviv and had a really successful career. But I think early on in his career, he told a story when we had him on this podcast about, playing for a team in Spain and just not getting paid. And they were like, "Thank you, but we'll see you later."
yeah.
And that happens. What like you said, trust your gut in those situations when something doesn't feel right, you don't feel like you're being taken care of. What else would you say advice wise when something goes a little sideways when you're abroad?
Stand up for yourself. What happened with me was very unfortunate, but I was able to use my voice and speak up on social media to have people aware of what I was going through, and because of that, the community of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they were able to help me get home. I have a decent following on Instagram, so a lot of people supported me and were resharing what was happening, and they were able to speed up the process for me to get home because the club had no intentions on paying me nor giving me my flight back for whatever reason. To this
Yeah,
day, don't know, and I don't want to know because I'm back home and I'm trying to focus on what I got here. But they weren't trying to give me my flight home. So me going on social media and speaking up for myself and on behalf of my teammate who was going through the same situation, made them want to say, "Oh, like our club is going to get exposed and everybody's going to not want to work with us anymore." So we
right.
take care of that. So they eventually got me and my teammate out of that situation. Uh, and it's unfortunate that it happened, but I take positivity out of that situation because I was able to meet some really cool guys that I'm really cool with to this day. I talk to them almost every day. I kind of like, developed a brotherhood relationship with the guys that, were in that situation. So, and
Mm,
they both have connections as well with basketball. So it can help me out in my future. I
for
don't
sure.
look at this situation as something that's gonna stop me from playing basketball overseas or stop me from playing basketball in general. I'm still very much active and involved with basketball and with the kids and everything. So, you know, you just got to learn from these type of experiences and just know who you're doing business with because everybody doesn't have any of your best interests. Some of these agents, they only care about money. They don't care about the player. That like when you get an agent, make sure it's somebody that you can trust. Make sure it's somebody that communicates with you. Make sure it's somebody that has it in your best interest because like they hold your future in some shape, way, or form. So if you don't trust that person holding your future, then you need to part ways with them and find somebody else who is invested in you just as much as you're invested in them. You know.
True. Yeah, very true. I mean, I think even if you're not playing abroad, there's so many people signing NIL deals right now and agreeing to get represented by people who are taking, a 20% cut or some ridiculous percentage of earnings. So even if you're not playing pro, I think it's just something to be aware of as a college athlete right now. Who is representing you? What are their interests, and making sure that they're aligned with putting you in the best position. So
Yeah.
yeah. You mentioned your work at the top of the show, kind of helping kids, being on the court, doing some instruction. You also have some charity work that you do. What does that look like today, and how did that get started?
It's crazy because like this is like our hot 2 months. Like for the next 60 days, we got events after events after events. So, Walk on Our Shoes is the organization that I founded in 2019. It's dedicated to providing shoes, clothes, toiletries, community service events such as street cleanups, park cleanups, basketball charity events, basketball camps for kids, all types of events to cater to the community. Um, it started while I was in college, while I was at NJCU. I had an idea, given to me by my mom about, giving back to, those in need. And I took full advantage of the opportunity once I was able to have the shoes and the clothes and stuff. It started off with me in the wintertime, just giving out sneakers. This is back when we had the ShopRite bags. So I put like sneakers in the ShopRite bags that I had, that some of my teammates donated, that people on campus donated. And we would just walk around into whatever area that was populated with homeless people, and we would just give out the sneakers. Like we would walk all around Newark, all around Plainfield, uh, New Brunswick, Patterson, Jersey City, and we'll just walk around all the areas that have the people sleeping on the floors and the ground, train stations, bus stations, and we would just pass out the sneakers. And then eventually, I started building a team. I joined a fraternity when I was in college, and a couple members of my fraternity really loved the idea that I wanted to give back to the community, and they wanted to give back as well. And they helped build the organization. And now I have a team of over 15 people, and we have expanded to Baltimore, to Pennsylvania, and we're planning on expanding to Connecticut, where we can service more communities outside of New Jersey. I've also done community service while I was overseas as well, giving back to some people. So, I just love helping people out. I feel like that was a gift from God for me to give back to others. So, it's something I take pride in. It's something I take very seriously, and it's something that I want to keep continuing to do. Whether I'm on this earth or not, I want that walk a mile in our shoes to live on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How can people support Walk a Mile in Our Shoes if they want to? How can they find out more information?
You can go on www.welcomeout the letter N in our shoes at .org. You can shoot us an email if you want a proposal to do community service with us at welcomeoutarshoes at gmail.com. We also have an Instagram page, Welcome On Our Shoes, Facebook, TikTok, all over the socials. You could definitely shoot us a message. We have a drop off spot where we store our sneakers and clothes in East Orange, New Jersey, on 27 Lenox Avenue. So by appointment, we're available on the weekends. You could come by and drop off some donations, or you could send them to the address.
Mm.
We're definitely accepting donations of mainly sneakers because we got a lot of events coming up this summer that we want to help the kids out and as well as families. So we also have an event this weekend coming up. It's a business casual community service where we're going to be providing like suits, dresses, dress shoes, heels,
Nice.
for people in need in the Newark area, and also helping them with job resumes. So we encourage anybody who's in the area to come out. All of our events are open to the general public, and we love to have volunteers and people to come to donate.
Yeah. Love that. Very nice. All right. Yeah, we'll try to promote it. Make sure that you guys can get as much support as you can during these 2 months when you, like you said, is your busy time. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, very strong. Uh, I know you mentioned you got something coming up, a new announcement with your next pro opportunity. So we're going to be looking out for that. Where can people follow along if they want to, check in on highlights, see what you're up to in your career?
Yeah, I mean, my Instagram is I am Gene Campbell, I_am_Gene_Campbell. It's the same name for my TikTok as well as my Facebook, so you can check me out. I have a YouTube channel. I think it's just my name, Eugene Campbell. It has all of my highlights from my rookie year up until now. Uh, I also do training. So if anybody is in the area and they want to, get some work in, work on their game development, feel free to DM me or message me. I'll, definitely get back to you. I'm not one of those guys that's going to ignore or not check my messages. I check them on a daily. So anybody wants to work and learn some things, man, feel free to hit me up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, here, before we wrap it up, we got to ask you the question we ask every guest. If you could go back and talk to your 17 or 18-year-old self, so 17 or 18-year-old Eugene, what advice would you give him?
I would tell him, do yoga, bro, because now I'm about to start getting into that and my body be tight, my hips be tight. I mean, I still manage it, but yeah, do yoga. You should have did yoga at 17. You think you're athletic now, you be jumping out the gym.
Yeah. Add that in with the skateboarding, some yoga
Yeah,
in the regimen.
yeah, that too.
I love it. Any final thoughts? Any people you want to give a shout out to that, have helped you along the way?
Yeah, shout out to my mom, shout out to my dad, shout out to my sister, shout out to my cousin Kenneth, who's been a big role model and a big influence in my pro career. Kenneth Fareed, who used to play for the Denver Nuggets.
Yep.
Me and him were like really, really close. It's like my big brother. He definitely, I talk to him on a regular. He gives me a lot of advice and a lot of, gems about this professional life because he's been doing it longer than me. Shout out to my Welcome On Our Shoes family. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Dan, Michael, everybody that's a part of the team that's been really helping the organization grow. Shout out to my fraternity, Psi Sigma Phi Multicultural Fraternity. Shout out to NJCU. NJCU gave me that dog that I needed, when I got overseas. Shout out to Coach Brown. Shout out to Coach Jackson at Middlesex County College. Shout out to all my peers, man, who pushed me to, get better, you know. And shout out to New Jersey, man. If it wasn't for New Jersey, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. New Jersey made me. So big shout out to them. Shout out to all my coaches overseas and my former teammates and current teammates. So, you know, uh, I'm just grateful to have a lot of people around me that pushed me to get better and supported me and, made me who I am today. So, and shout out to
Yeah.
you for having me on here.
Hey,
Yeah.
appreciate it. And credit goes to you for following up. We had started talking and then yeah, dropped off the radar. So, a lot of credit to you for rebooting this. I've enjoyed this conversation a ton. It's great to meet you and hear, like I said, I'd read your story a little bit, but to hear
Yeah.
it in your words, it's inspiring what you went through. I also got cut in middle school and didn't give up. But I think
Yeah.
you took that to the next level and have played long beyond what I did, what a lot of people do. Um,
Yeah, but
so
you're a platform though for athletes like me, so you're actually still serving in the basketball community in a
yeah,
major way. Yeah,
trying to stay in touch with it. I mean, I
yeah,
think I think as you experience the relationships that you build at each of these different stops are something that just makes life richer. And so, it's a treat to get to meet someone like yourself. And now I'm going to be able to follow along with your career and uh, stay in touch.
likewise, brother.
All right, Eugene, it's been a pleasure, man. I will, direct people to your website for your foundation, obviously your Instagram. We will be putting a lot of this content up, making sure to tag you. So,
Yeah,
uh, hope everyone enjoyed listening to this conversation, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Eugene.
thank you.